Sportsnet at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. The Blue Jays wrap up their series with the Tampa Bay Rays. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Joe Siddall. Hazel May down on the field. Appreciate you tuning in to this one. Today, the Blue Jays hoping to get out of Tropicana Field with a win in this series.
Never an easy place to play, never easy pitching to face. Today it's the left-hander Shane McClanahan, but Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and his guys need to get it going offensively.
Here is the Blue Jays lineup, and they are happy to have George Springer back in there, especially against one Shane McClanahan. Springer coming off the injured list, then going back down, returned to the starting lineup yesterday. But Joe, as you mentioned, it's not going to be easy for anyone because when healthy, Shane McClanahan is about as good as they come.
The left-hander is a two-time All-Star back in 22 and 23, missed 2 seasons. Tommy John surgery, then he had a nerve issue. But he is back at it, and he's doing pretty well early on in this season. That ERA just over 3 in his 6 starts. He's had back-to-back starts now scoreless. He has walked 2 and struck out 12. And it's a four-seam fastball and changeup a lot to the righties. He'll mix in the slider as well. Pretty good pitch mix. And as Kevin Pillar was just alluding to, you have to pick your spot and try to zone him in. Defensively for the Rays, Chandler Simpson back in left field, Johnny DeLuca in center, Ryan Valade, who had the home run off Eric Lauer. He is in right, Caminero and Walls on the left side, Williamson and Aranda on the right side, and Nick Fortes back behind the plate for Game 3 of this series.
Nestor Ceja, the home plate umpire, gets us underway. Step in behind the catcher, Nick Fortes. And Springer will lead it off. George Springer is 4 for 16 since his return from the injured list, although that does not factor in him going back down a couple of days when he was hitting the toe. Now he lifts this one foul.
Four-seam fastball, changeup, slider, and a very occasional curveball, and that fastball is going to average over 95, so they need to get it going. But that secondary pitch, the changeup, we see a lot of it from this Rays staff. Very good pitch.
Swing and a miss. Springer was trying to hold up on that very occasional curveball. Probably didn't expect it. It's 1-2.
And that's the one where you're glad you missed it, though. That's not the one you want to put in play with a swing like that. Finish that swing. He'll take the whiff, even though he's down 1-2 to the tough lefty.
1-2 pitch. And he got him. The changeup is as nasty as any pitch in the arsenal for McClanahan. 1 out. Well,
back-to-back after those first couple of fastballs, and George was not near either one of them. 2 nasty pitches from McClanahan. Four-seamer, curve, and change to get George Springer. First strikeout for McClanahan, who now faces the Blue Jays' hottest hitter. And Okamoto takes a curve. I mean, you mentioned occasionally throws it under 10% of the time this year, yet McClanahan has thrown 2 curveballs in his first 5 pitches. We've seen this Rays pitching staff try to expand the zone against these Blue Jays hitters. This is the team that's chasing more than they did last year.
Okamoto rips it through the left side, and it's rolling all the way to the warning track. Cosmo Okamoto around first. He's into second as Simpson digs it out from the wall, and it's a double for Okamoto.
Continuing to hit the ball very hard. Okamoto drilling this pitch. Pretty center cut into the corner in left. And if you're going to look for that fastball, when you get it, don't miss it.
Blue Jays got on the board in the first inning yesterday. They're looking to repeat that in this one. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. back in the starting lineup after getting a day off in yesterday's game, but coming in later to hit. And he'll take a strike. Even if you're Shane McClanahan, that's back-to-back fastballs right down the middle. There will be some mistakes. One. And Vladdy hits it back to the mound. McClanahan throws to first.
Shouldn't have to state it, but good base running by Okamoto. We have seen some poor base running across Major League Baseball. And a lot of runners will take an extra step or two there and get hung up, but his first move was back to that second base bag.
After Okamoto's second hardest hit ball of the season, he remains on second with 2 outs in Lenyn Sosa. That was the slider from McClanahan. On the ground, under the glove of the third baseman Caminero. Walsh's throw gets there, though. And that will do it for the top of the first. A really nice play. Shortstop Taylor Walsh had to throw it from deep in the hole, and he gets it there in time. One of the top defensive shortstops in the game keeps it 0-0. Former Blue Jay catcher Kevin Cash managing the Rays, the longest tenured manager in Major League Baseball in his 12th season, and the Rays are looking for a sweep and a 10th win in a row at home. Jonathan Aranda had some big knocks for them yesterday and continues to lead the American League in runs batted in. But when Aranda comes up, it'll be a left-on-left matchup because the veteran southpaw Patrick Corbin gets the ball for the Blue Jays. Joe.
Corbin settling into this Blue Jays rotation. 5 starts now, that ERA at 3.65. He went 5 1/3 innings in Minnesota against the Twins. He earned his first win in a Blue Jays uniform, allowing 2 runs. He walked 1 and struck out 4, but it looks now like he has built up. It took some time. It took him 5 starts. He talked to me extensively about that. When you sign a contract and you get one quick little start in the minor leagues and you're rushed into big league action, it takes time, but he's in a much better spot now, and hopefully he can once again take his team into at least the 6th inning before he has to hand things over.
He'll offer to Yandy Diaz leading off for the Rays, and he's in there with a first pitch sinker.
A lot of sinkers, changeups, and sliders from Corbin. He still will use his cutter, even though it's a pitch that hurt him early on.
This one is flipped out to right center field and down in front of Miles Straw.
Well, he will need some defense behind him this afternoon, and behind Corbin is Davis Schneider getting the start with the lefty on the mound for the Rays in left, Miles Straw in center. Yohendrick Pinungo making his first start in right field as the Blue Jay. He's the only lefty bat in the lineup. Okamoto and Clement gets the start at short. Sosa at second, Vladdy at first, and Tyler Heineman back in action here for the Blue Jays.
No Farsho, Jimenez, or Sanchez. 3 left-handed hitters on the Blue Jay bench as Ryan Vilade takes low. Vilade in the opener of this series batted 3rd for the Rays against the lefty Eric Lauer and hit a 3-run homer in the first inning that kind of put the game away right away.
You hate to think that the game is being put away in the first inning, but when you go down 3-0 to this Rays team, the way they pitch, it makes it a very difficult comeback, and they just tacked a couple on later to go on to a 5-1 victory.
Line drive foul.
Kevin Cash loves the versatility of Vilade. He likes his at-bats, of course, against left-handed pitching, and this is how they get those platoon matchups and put people in situations where they can succeed.
Try to get him to chase a changeup. New baseball at 2-2. Corbin used the changeup more in his last start than any start he's had this season. Threw it over a quarter of the time in his last start when he went 5 1/3 against the Twins.
Hitters are very aware of his cutter from using it so much in the past, and he knows that. The slider is kind of something he'll hold out to more as a wipeout type pitch.
And a walk to Vilade. Corbin walks off the hill, looked a little frustrated there. It's 1st and 2nd with nobody out.
Frustrated because he gave up a bloop single to Diaz. The last thing they want to do is lose a guy like Vilade, with Caminero and Aranda coming up next.
Caminero with a hit and a walk yesterday. He's 1 for 6 in the series, but has as much power potential as any Ray. And Corbin misses there. He was ahead of Valade 1-2. It's been 4 pitches out of the zone since. On the ground toward third and foul, says Chris Guccione. Okamoto is getting ready to try and start a 5-3 double play.
They have had a shot too. The way he fielded that ball, he scooped it and was coming right to that third base bag, just outside the line. There's the cutter from Corbin, and he knows when he throws that cutter, he's got to make sure that it's in there, not anywhere near where damage can be done, especially from a hitter like Caminero.
On the ground up the middle, Sosa will take it to second himself, and that's the double play ball that Corbin needed.
Well, nice job by Sosa around this second base bag, and oftentimes middle infielders think they've got a lot of freedom, but you'll see Valade go into the second base bag pretty hard. Not a takeout slide, but he makes it a little tougher on Sosa. You got to make sure that you come up with that good accurate throw, and he did.
This is the 3rd time the Blue Jays have Clement and Sosa as their double play combo. Those two still might be getting a feel for each other as well up the middle. Aranda very dangerous. He had a double to start the rally in the 8th inning that gave the Rays the lead and eventually the win last night. But Corbin with a good breaking ball evens the count.
An RBI machine. These are guys that you're always worried about at the plate, just for the knack that they had. We saw it last night again. To get that big hit to cash in a run when you know you're 1 pitch away from getting out of the inning scoreless.
That might have hit him. Yeah, it did. Aranda down to first, and now a pair back on for the Rays.
And despite the platoon, I don't think that's a horrible thing. But that grazed Aranda. Get him out of there and take your chances now with DeLuca.
Pitch to DeLuca is inside. One 0 down and away. DeLuca does hit for pretty good average, having a bit of a breakout year in his 4th major league season. He's trying to knock in Diaz from third with Aranda on first. There is that cutter, Joe, that you had mentioned. It's hurt him at times, especially in that first start of his season. But he threw it there to the spot that he's been saying he wants to get it to, right in on the hands.
And that's how it's an effective pitch, to go with what else he has, especially that changeup down and away from righties. Good idea. That's a good sequence right there. Up and in with the cutter, down with the changeup. It was just never really that close.
One walk in the inning for Corbin, a hit batter and a base hit. The 3-1 pitch is hit on the ground to Clement. He'll go to second. And the Blue Jays escape the inning without allowing a run. 0-0 after an inning at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. Get ready to celebrate 2 icons of franchise history. On Friday, May 22nd, the first 15,000 fans will receive a Bautista and Encarnacion Home Run Flex bobblehead. Get tickets now at bluejays.com/promotions. Shane McClanahan getting 2 of his 3 outs on changeups in the first inning. And the Rays in general, whether it's in their rotation or in their bullpen, have a lot of guys throwing a lot of changeups and having a lot of success with them.
We've seen 2 starting pitchers already in this series. Nick Martinez is throwing his changeup a lot and a lot more this season. Even Rasmussen yesterday is throwing it a little bit more, but you see him out of the bullpen. Brian Baker's their closer. He's essentially 2 pitches, 4-seam fastball and changeup. Saw Ian Seymour, the left-hander in this series. Clearly a strategy where a good changeup is a pitch that looks a lot like a fastball. Strike.
I think a pretty quick decision for Ernie Clement on that challenge. And we are waiting right now to actually see it. A pitch significantly lower the zone was called a strike there.
Don't even tell me that the technology is
There's no
down.
graphic available. The pitch was a ball. Toronto has 2 challenges remaining.
Unbelievable.
It's all right. It wasn't going up on the board, but they did check it and overturn it. So it's 1-0. And now Clement hits it on the ground to third. 1 out.
Well, Ernie's not going to be up there for a whole lot of pitches. And goes right after that next one. It's another example of a Rays pitcher trying to get Blue Jays hitters to expand. Now this is a guy that won't expand as much.
A lot of curveballs too for Shane McClanahan early on. Oh, 1.
See that good run on his changeup and just catches the edge.
Not sure he wants to elevate that changeup in the way that he just did, but finds a spot for it. Now it's 2-strike pitch to Schneider. And he got him on a much better changeup down and away. Second strikeout for McClanahan.
Oh, and there it is. So an outstanding changeup, and they get another chase from a Blue Jays hitter. That one just taking off, not even close.
Two quick outs for McClanahan in his pitch to Miles Straw. There's another change. McClanahan has not gone very deep into games. That being said, he's only thrown 17 pitches so far. If he moves this quickly, he can get deeper than usual. To a certain respect, or in a certain respect, there's not much they can do. He keeps throwing strikes. So
be ready to hit, I guess. Thing is, once he gets ahead, then he can really expand.
His 0-2 to Straw.
Like that.
And he struck him out. Straw saying that ball hit his bat and hit the ground. But Nestor Ceja calls him out.
Check the ball, ask for help.
Well, Ceja didn't ask, and Fortes ran away with the ball, so they'll never have an opportunity. Back-to-back strikeouts, and it's still scoreless at the Trop.
His outing last night as sporadic. He did get himself into some jams early on, but made the pitches he needed to make while limiting the damage. Overall, he said his stuff played much better and the velocity was up. As for the team's performance of late, Gausman had some pointed comments. He said, "We have a bullseye on our back, maybe more than we ever had. We need to expect that, need to play a little bit better, be more fine. There are a lot of things we need to do better. It comes down to wanting it. We feel very confident in everybody in that room." Gausman thought defensively the Blue Jays have not been as crisp compared to last season. He'd like to see a return to fundamentals. John Schneider told me the guys have to keep grinding, Ben, and understand when they play well, it's because they play in sync. Guys.
Very interesting to hear it from Gausman, who, Joe, is a huge leader for their team, but not always the most outspoken player. So when he talks, people do tend to listen as Williamson lifts one out to right field. Pinango makes his first play as a right fielder in the big leagues. What did you think overall of the comments?
I love the comments because we're a month in now, into the month of May, and it's time to start getting things together. We know last year did not start real well either. John Schneider has alluded to that, but you have to. The toughest thing is navigating these muddy waters early on, and it's easy to play this game when things are going well. These are the times that you find out who you have in that room, and I think for Gausman speaking up, it's just a subtle message to his teammates, guys, we need to be better. And I like the fact that he mentioned the defense. There have been plays, there have been base running plays, there have been situational hitting plays that have not been executed very well throughout the first month of this season.
Chandler Simpson rips a liner to right. Pinango there to make the grab.
Put him anywhere you want out there, making his first start in right field as a Toronto Blue Jay. And this is not an easy play. Not a lot of time to close that ground. It just gets his glove underneath that baseball. And that's a big guy to keep off the base pass.
Corbin looking for a quicker second inning after he threw nearly 20 pitches in the first. And he's got 2 quick outs. Nick Fortes, though, has been a tough matchup for his career. Fortes 4 for 10 career off Corbin with a double. Ground ball to short. And Corbin skates through the second. 1, 2, 3 for the Blue Jays lefty. Pinango did some of the heavy lifting, and it's still scoreless at the trop. Rogers customer, watch for Canada's winning inning. When the Blue Jays get a hit, you could win amazing prizes courtesy of Rogers Beyond the Sea. Hearing some positive news from John Schneider today on the progress of Alejandro Kirk, who is hitting and maybe even starting to throw pretty soon as well. But they are really missing him right now. John Schneider talked a little bit about that today, Joe, before the game. It's the offense, it's the defense, it's his work with the pitchers on a personal level. It's how much everyone likes him in that clubhouse. He is one of the more crucial guys on their 26-man roster.
It is so important behind the plate. It's for me the most important position on the field because you're impacting so many parts of the game. John Schneider was a catcher. He understands that. He misses just Kirky walking by and giving him the hey, what's up? But Alejandro Kirk and what he brings on both sides of the ball. I remember some of those spring training games, Ben. We were talking about it, about sustaining any injuries throughout the course of this season. I was thinking he could be the toughest one to kind of get through because of what he offers on so many different levels.
Kirk breaking his thumb on his catching hand in Chicago, the 3rd series of the year, and has not played since.
Well, Brendan Valenzuela certainly had a tough one last night. You saw a young catcher really battling. Another thing on a catcher's plate now is this ABS system that we've talked about so much early on in the season. Because as a young catcher, you're catching a Kevin Gausman. You're thinking about how I'm going to call the game and navigate that. And he had a base running mistake. But then he had the ABS issues where his team was out of challenges in the 3rd inning. He lost both of their challenges that early.
2-1 pitch, hit back foul, 2-2.
When I asked John Schneider about that today, he said that yes, they're constantly talking about this. They're having conversations about how they're going to do it. But the problem is that he missed one early. And when you miss one early, then there's a pitch that you know is a strike, but you're afraid to challenge it because now you're second guessing yourself. And then he did challenge the next one, and it cost him.
And John Schneider did say in reference to Kirk that he didn't feel like the guys who are here right now, he wasn't saying that he wasn't happy with the job they were doing. I mean, Valenzuela yesterday does draw a 10-pitch walk. Tyler Heineman worked with Trey Savage in his debut. They pitched to a shutout in that one. 2-2. And it's picked up at first by Aranda, 1 out. But there's been challenges in replacing all of the starters' production who have gone down, and Kirk is one of the best catchers in baseball.
Well, Hazel's report focused on Kevin Gausman kind of calling out his team a little bit publicly, saying, let's go, guys. Well, Tyler Heineman was called out by his manager as well. Remember, in Minnesota, he was taken out of that ball game and never did get a reason why, but I can feel that with the way John Schneider operates, and we saw him once earlier this season with Eric Lauer, who voiced his displeasure about not being a starting pitcher and using an opener in front of him. And John had some pointed comments right back to his player. And I thought this is a little out of character for Schneider. Normally he's kind of covering things and smoothing things over, but by taking Heineman out of that game, he had a reason to do it. We don't know the reason, but the way he is acting as a manager now, I think John is in a different place. It used to be more, you're new to the league and it's a new gig and you're just trying to make everybody happy. And I remember his interview with Hazel in spring training. He said just that. And I think he's in a different spot now. He took his team to the World Series last year. He knows that things have to be better. He knows that there are targets on their backs, but he's not putting up with behavior or whatever it was, whether it was something verbal or behavior, that it's not a standard they play up to. So I don't know what it was, but
or play on the field.
Or play on the field.
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know what it was. Ground ball to the left side. Caminero picks it up, throws to first, 2 down.
But these are messages where I think John Schneider's in a different spot now. I like that in a manager. And Ben, as players, I can promise you that players like that in a manager. They need somebody and want somebody to point them in a direction and say this is acceptable or this is not acceptable. So it's early in the season. You try to get these things early and address them, and I think put your team in a much better spot.
And Heineman did say a lot of those things after that day. He was in support of Schneider's move, even if it was to the detriment of him as a player, and mentioned that he was, in his opinion, the best manager he'd ever played for.
You know what's really difficult is when you're a backup catcher, the #1 catcher goes down. You want to do so well. You want to prove to everybody that you're not just a backup catcher. I want to take over this role. And Tyler has been just going through it. He's been scuffling, and we know he's admitted it, and that's tough as a hitter. But what's most important, what he does, is what he brings behind the plate. And he'll do it today with Patrick Corbin and company to try to ride his team to a winner.
George Springer also to Caminero on the ground. And that will do it as Shane McClanahan has retired 8 in a row, setting down the Blue Jays in order in the top of the 3rd. Still scoreless in St. Pete. Celebrate a Blue Jays legend with the Roy Halladay replica jersey giveaway. On Monday, June 8th, the first 15,000 fans will receive a retro jersey honoring one of the greatest pitchers in franchise history. Buy tickets now at bluejays.com/promotions. Patrick Corbin and Taylor Walls. And a near miss there. Walls made that great play to end the first inning, sliding into the hole, throwing out Lenyn Sosa. If he makes a bad throw with Okamoto coming to third base, who knows what happens. But Walls is an incredibly strong defender. He's one of the more polarizing players in the game because for the last 5 or 6 years, he's been one of the top defenders and one of the least productive offensive players in baseball. No one has posted more defensive runs saved at shortstop since 2021 than Walls' 56. And he's way ahead of everyone else.
And this is a Raisy type of player, because if you can have him doing that at shortstop, even though he's not contributing a whole lot offensively, what he does at the shortstop position, you leave it to those other guys up at the top of the lineup to do their damage. And Kevin Cash has a way of mixing these guys into the right spots and getting that balance throughout. And you know, it's all about pitching down here with the Rays, and along with pitching comes defense.
And it's not like he's not doing anything at the plate. He had a big 2-run hit in the opener of this series. And this time he lines one out toward left field. Schneider with a dive. It's down for a base hit. Right on cue there for Taylor Walls for the leadoff single.
Well, it certainly didn't look like he got all of it. It was a cutter, and it looked like it got in on his hands, and it just didn't go as far as Schneider thought. He gave it an effort, but just could not get there. And keep an eye on Walls.
5 stolen bases on the season for Walls. He's been caught once. Yandy Diaz 2 hits away from 1,000 in his career after his single in the first inning. There's a pitch comm issue right now down on the field.
Mr. Seha, I think, is making sure that they're not saying that that was a little delay tactic, because if the clock is going down, the pitch clock, you can kind of pretend for half a second that the pitch comm's on the blink and maybe save yourself a mound visit. And he didn't indeed say no mound visit. Reset everything right here. The pitch clock included. Starting all over.
To Diaz, and it's into Clement. Sosa has it for one, and there's two. Second ground ball double play forced by Patrick Corbin in the first 3 innings.
Well, Corbin not necessarily a big ground ball pitcher, but this sinker gets Diaz to pound it into the turf, and then it's an easy 6-4-3. Well done. Did such a good job in that second inning of pounding the zone and having a real quick inning to get that pitch count back in order.
Two down, and the pitch to Ryan Valade is sent out to center field and caught by Straw. Another scoreless frame for Patrick Corbin, who right now is going blow for blow with Shane McClanahan. Celebrate Mother's Day with Junior J's Mother's Day, presented by Ontario Honda Dealers. This Sunday, it's a special edition of Junior J's Sunday with experiences designed just for mom across the ballpark. Visit bluejays.com/promotions for tickets. Kazuma Okamoto is up, and the first pitch hit foul. Okamoto, the only base runner to reach for the Blue Jays so far. The only base runner, I should say, for the Blue Jays so far through the first 3 innings. He saw one of maybe 2 mistakes so far that Shane McClanahan has made. It was a 4-seamer over the middle, and he crushed it. This time he lifts the ball toward right field. It's going to be a long run for Ryan Valade, and he almost overran it. 1 out.
Well, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. had the day off yesterday, and it was a bit of a reboot by his manager with this at the end of this 13 games in a row, and he thought over the last handful of games he's been kind of going through it a little bit, a little frustration kicking in. First at bat against McClanahan today, just hit a soft ground ball, and we'll see if he's not a little bit more engaged sitting on one of these pitches. This is the type of pitcher for me that Vladdy can be very good if he sits on one or the other. The fastball, whether that's up and over the plate, or that changeup down. But you almost have to pick one. Good swing there.
It looked like maybe he was sitting soft in the first at bat, because there was a first pitch fastball down the middle, pitch 1 that was taken.
And that's what I thought too, but then he hit a changeup. He just dribbled it back to the mound. That to me is a much better swing with some intent, trying to do some damage. Yes, it's almost as though, Ben, sometimes I'll see an at bat and he just wasn't engaged in the at bat. And this is, we're talking about one of the best hitters in the world here. And then now you watch this at bat and he looks like he is coming out here trying to absolutely punish something.
1-2. And it's bounced over the hill. McClanahan stays with it. Nice play. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. not in his hottest stretch so far of the season. After getting off to a really good start, hitting for average, and George Springer, his health has been up and down so far this year. Not quite the power production they saw last year.
And these are two guys that are very capable of providing that power production. Kazuma Okamoto off to a nice start in his first month with the Blue Jays. Really turned it on the last couple of weeks. in the power department, but George is going to have to do that. Vladdy's going to have to do that. I think we know that Jesus Sanchez comes with that regard. I thought he had a better at bat later last night. He flied out to center, but it looked like a different swing for me, maybe trying to do some more damage.
One to Sosa. Hit foul, and McClanahan is ahead 1-2. Fan made a nice catch on that foul line drive. Strikes him out, and that is 11 in a row retired for Shane McClanahan. Still a scoreless game, though, 0-0 at the middle of the fourth inning.
Welcome back. Caught up with Max Scherzer, who played catch once again today. He told me he's not concerned about the ankle inflammation, saying the discomfort has somewhat subsided. Now, the forearm is confusing because it's still bothering him after a clean MRI. That's what has everyone pulling their hair out, he said. The MRI is saying, hey, you should be good. And I'm like, no, the check engine light is on. Scherzer will talk to more doctors. He joked that he has every doctor's number on his Rolodex, and guys are going to try and find a way to get to the bottom of it. By the way, Scherzer plans on traveling with the team back to Toronto for the homestand, and he said we'll go from there. Ben.
Hopefully something that can be figured out soon. And these things, when especially you've thrown thousands upon thousands and thousands of innings, show it's not always the easiest to figure all of this stuff out. As Okamoto makes a nice play on a Common-Aero lineup.
I do love that line about the check engine light, because when you get to Max's age, yes, it's like an old car. You got to take care of that thing, and when something goes wrong, it might be a little more difficult to figure out. It doesn't really seem to matter where Max is. It might be in the dugout, it might be on the field during batting practice, the clubhouse. He is always talking baseball. Corbin doing a better job these last couple of innings of pounding the zone. He had that tough one in the first inning where he's having difficulty finding that strike zone as he falls behind 3-0. That was timely.
Yeah, thanks, Joe.
He hit Aranda in his first plate appearance.
3-0 pitch to Aranda. 4-pitch walk. Johnny DeLuca to hit with a runner on first and 1 out. Patrick Corbin's already rolled 2 double play balls so far today. And a near miss inside there with a changeup to make it 1-0.
Kind of pulled that one a little bit. Ideally, he wants that changeup more middle away to these right-handed hitters.
Lined into the gap in right center field, and that's going to get all the way to the wall. Aranda around third base. He'll get the wave. Sosa will hold it, and Johnny DeLuca doubles home the first run of the game. 1-0 Rays.
Good piece of hitting by DeLuca. It's a sinker down and away. Not a bad spot at all. Certainly trying to get a ground ball. But he stays with this pitch and works underneath that baseball to elevate it on the line into the gap.
DeLuca's 14th RBI of the season. And the Rays strike first. Curveball to get ahead of Ben Williamson.
Keep an eye on DeLuca around that second base bag. Sosa will try to keep him from getting a jump if he's thinking of going anywhere.
0-2 pitch to Williamson is low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. One-two pitch is lined off of Corbin, and Sosa will make the play to first. Well, that was an interesting one, and hopefully Patrick Corbin's all right. John Schneider and Jose Ministral are going to go out there and make sure, and credit to Sosa sticking with the play.
Right back, it looked like it got the heel of his glove hand. He had no idea where the baseball was. Luckily for the Blue Jays, it went right to their second baseman. Watch Corbin. Ooh, maybe more of his hand.
Yeah, I don't know if it got gloved.
No.
But he very quickly has waved away Schneider and Ministral, so he's going to stay in this game. Sosa stuck with it, got the out. DeLuca looked a little bit confused what he was supposed to do, the runner on second. Then once it dropped, he just said, I'll just dash for third base, and he's got the speed that they weren't going to go after him.
Keep an eye on Corbin here, because even though it's your glove hand, that's your lead arm in your pitching delivery.
Chandler Simpson did enough to get a base hit his first time up, lined the ball out to right, but Yohendrick Pinango came sliding in to take that away. And this time he hits it through the right side to knock in DeLuca. 2-0 Rays on a pair of hits this inning.
Chandler Simpson is a singles hitting machine, just punching that ball in play. Gets it right out over the plate, rolls it into right field, and now again you've got to really watch his speed on the bases here.
Corbin to the catcher Fortes, and another hit out to right field. Stays shallow, so Simpson stops at second, and Fortes has his 5th career hit off Corbin.
Well, that one stayed up a little bit. Slider to Simpson was down. It's off the plate away, but not trying to pull the ball at all. He just goes right with it. Nice job by Fortes. Looks like that changeup is cutting a little bit on Corbin. Coming across that pitch a hair.
Here's 0-1 to Walsno. It's an inside move to check on the runner Simpson. And Walls lifts this one to left center field, playable for Miles Strong. 2 runs though for the Rays in this 4th inning. RBI hits from Simpson and DeLuca give the Rays an advantage. Well, here's an interesting coincidence. Through 36 games each of the last 3 seasons, the Blue Jays are 16-20. Obviously, very different finishes in 2024 and 2025. The big difference this year is what the rest of the American League has been doing. The National League has dominated the American League in interleague play, and so the Blue Jays, despite being 4 games below 500, are not as far back as they would usually be. Although I don't know about you, Joe, I don't tend to look at the wild card standings very much on May 6th. That pitch was called a ball.
Like a ball or something fell out in the field in left center. Yeah, the American League is really saving a lot of teams. Nobody really running away with big winning records. Rays and Yankees, of course, in the East are ruling the roost.
There is not a team even at 500 in the Central. 1-1 to Clement. Good changeup from McClanahan, who gave up the first inning double to Okamoto and nothing since. Guy who debuted in the 2020 playoffs and was one of the top pitchers his first 3 years in the game before injuries. Balls gets Ernie, and there's one out. Shane McClanahan, the 31st overall pick by the Rays out of the University of South Florida in 2018. And was their opening day starter in 2022, a year after breaking into the rotation. And then, Joe, you mentioned those All-Stars in 22 and 23.
Fantastic young pitcher in the game, beset by injuries, but he looks to be back.
The catcher is challenging the call of ball.
Pitch was called a ball, and now we'll have this closer look, which is brought to you by Specsavers. That'll overturn that high
The
curve.
pitch is a strike. The count is 0-2. Tampa has 2 challenges remaining.
McClanahan's 0-2. High with a fastball. Shane McClanahan also is now running a 15 1/3 innings consecutive scoreless streak. Davis Schneider in the air out to center field. That'll back up Johnny DeLuca. And there are 2 outs. That's about as far as the Blue Jay has hit a ball since Okamoto doubled to the wall.
Well, he's getting swing and miss on almost all of his pitches, but he's also locating those changeups in really good spots, getting Ernie Clement to roll over one to short. Davis Schneider can't do much with that to center, even though he hit it pretty well.
Pitch to Miles Straw with 2 outs is over the middle for a strike with a breaking ball. McClanahan's consecutive innings scoreless streak is 3rd longest active now in the majors, only behind the Dodgers, Justin Robleski and Raisel Iglesias of the Braves. But Straw gets into one, left center field, and it's off the top of the fence. Miles Straw is second, and he'll hold up there. Second Blue Jays hit of the game, and he almost left the yard again.
Well, we know what Ernie is, or what Miles is up to, and he gets a fastball. It's down to the zone, and he's looking to pull. Got some pop in that bat, and he just comes up a little short, high off the wall in left center.
The ball was left live and in play. Toronto was challenging that call.
The Blue Jays think
Correction,
that
this will be a crew chief review.
the home run is crew chief review, not a Blue Jay challenge, but for the home run review. It's a double right now, but the Blue Jays are asking just to see, I guess, if someone would have interfered with that ball or reached over. Perhaps it did something that we didn't see.
This looks at high up, just under that yellow bar.
After review, the call is confirmed, live and in play. Runner will remain at second base.
Close, but not over that wall for Miles Straw. It's his 3rd double of the year and his 5th extra base hit. And if you're looking for a run scoring hit, the Blue Jays have the right guy up, although it's a tough left-on-left matchup. Yohendrick Pinango drove in a run yesterday and has been big in these situations so far. He'll take a strike, though. Back to McClanahan, who makes his 3rd play in the field so far today, and strands Straw in scoring position. 2-0 Rays, middle of the 5th inning at Tropicana Field. Get to the ballpark early on June 10th. The first 15,000 fans will receive a Dylan Cease bobblehead. Buy tickets now at bluejays.com/promotions. Well, there hasn't been a lot of offense for the Blue Jays so far in this one, but a lot of time to go, and maybe a loud crack of the bat coming up for the Blue Jays will wake up some here at the ballpark. Still a tight game, 2-0 Rays.
That little Blue Jays fan is saying, come on guys, get those bats going.
Yandy Diaz rolls over, and Okamoto will retire him.
Patrick Corbin back out for this 5th inning. Talking to Tyler Heineman. Could have been about pitch selection, maybe location. Pitch comm again, maybe. Looks like Tyler Heineman just told his dugout that the pitch comm, he pointed to his head and he wiggled his fingers like it's on the blink. It's not working perfectly.
Seems to be like that around baseball. Every 45 minutes, one of these pitch comms, it's a little fuzzy.
Technology. Great when it works.
Braden Fisher heating up for the Blue Jays. Corbin's been efficient, but perhaps if there's some traffic, don't want to tempt any fate in a game that's so low scoring to start it. Patrick Corbin, though, continuing to pitch well. 2 runs allowed last inning, but you cannot fault his effort again today through 4 2/3.
Doing it again, and he's pitching to contact. I said earlier, not a whole lot of swing and miss. He's got 1 swing and miss on a cutter, and that's about all. So a lot of balls put in play. They did ding him for those 2 runs in the 4th.
His 3rd time against Junior Caminero. 92 on that sinker to start him at 0-1. Goes to the changeup. He shook to that pitch. It seems like a pitch that more and more as the year is going on, he's confident in. It's 0-2. And he got him. First strikeout of the start is to Junior Caminero, and Patrick Corbin is through 5 innings with only 2 runs allowed. Still 2-0 Rays, though. Time now for an update. Here's Jamie Campbell. Canada's last team standing gets their 2nd round series underway tonight. Habs and Sabres followed by the Ducks and Golden Knights. The Stanley Cup playoffs continue on Sportsnet tonight. Graham Johnson, who's acting as pitching coach today with P. Walker away at his daughter's graduation, talking with Patrick Corbin. And nothing 100% definitive in either way there, whether his start will continue or not. Shane McClanahan is continuing into the 6th. He did that in his last start as well. Not something that he's done so often this year, but he's been so efficient. He threw 55 pitches through his first 5 innings. That's the 3rd fewest in his career through the first 5 innings of a start. This is his 81st career start of all 81, the 3rd fewest pitches through 5 innings.
Pounding the zone and then expanding when he needs to.
Heineman in the air out to left field. Just got under it a little bit as Simpson runs it down. And it was a little up and down to start the year for McClanahan, but he went 6 innings shutout on 73 pitches in his last start. He's through 5 1/3 under 60 pitches in this start. He's clearly starting to get rolling.
It's an interesting approach too, because you've got a team in the Blue Jays that we said they're chasing more than they have in the past. But at the same time, it's also a team that swings the bat a whole lot. Not seeing tons of pitches per plate appearance this season too. So it's a, do you go after them early knowing they're going to be aggressive, or do you go after them early trying to get them to expand the zone? But he has been pounding the strike zone today.
If I'm not mistaken, that's his first 2-ball count since the 3rd inning. McClanahan's 2-0. It's a close pitch. Springer seemed to think about it, but decided not to challenge. Really, this is the first time we're seeing McClanahan have to work to get back in the zone. Technically, all 4 of these pitches were out of the zone, even though one was called a strike.
But all around it.
Springer hits it sharply, and a diving stop. Caminero up quickly to throw him out. There hasn't been a lot of hard contact, but when there has been, a couple of nice defensive plays on the left side for the Rays, like that play from Caminero.
That is the second excellent play. Taylor Walls earlier back in the first inning. This time it's Caminero, and he knows when he's got it. He's got the arm to get it over there, and he has plenty of time to get Springer.
Good changeup to get ahead of Kazuma Okamoto. Line drive double to left and a fly out to right. I know it's already the 6th inning now, but what can you do to adjust here to McClanahan, who's had his best stuff in the zone?
When a guy is in the zone as much as he is, you've got to go up looking to hit. Now the key is picking that good spot or that good pitch to hit. George got himself a 3-1 fastball right there. It's a great pitch to hit, so that's a good decision, but he just hit it hard to third, and Caminero made a great play. But you need more at-bats like that, where at least you get better quality.
2-2. And even there, Okamoto, after or right before that good take, he got a pitch to hit on the curve. He put a hard swing out there, but he missed it, and you just don't get that many chances on McClanahan. It's a pretty good walk, though, if you're Kazuma Okamoto.
It's a great plate appearance. He's seeing the ball really well. We talked earlier about how hard he is hitting the ball so consistently, but this is really seeing the ball well, picking up that spin, I would imagine, and laying off.
And that is going to be that for Shane McClanahan. Even though he was absolutely dominant, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. about to represent the tying run, so McClanahan done after 5 2/3. Kevin Kelly will pitch when we come back. We are just 1 week away from handing out another multi-million-dollar jackpot. Plus, you could still win luxury vacations or gas for a year. Grab tickets now at bluejays.com/50/50 from participating provinces. Kevin Kelly sidearms one into Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Blue Jays get McClanahan out of the game.
Kelly came on Monday night, and he did face Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He bounced back weakly to the mound, so he's seeing him for the second time.
Guerrero high in the air, left field. Simpson on the warning track, and he'll make the grab. Blue Jays get close, but still trail 2-0 at the middle of the 6th. Anthony Edwards led the Timberwolves to a Game-1 upset. Now Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs have their backs against the wall. Minnesota and San Antonio Game 2 tonight at 9:30 Eastern on Sportsnet 1. Pretty good basketball player in his day in the Syracuse, New York area. Patrick Corbin picked baseball for obvious reasons we know now.
What do you know about the Syracuse area?
A little bit, and Jonathan Aranda grounds one to short. Toss to first in time. I can tell you Patrick is very excited. There's Rochester, New York, Ernie Clement. Patrick very excited about the new coach at Syracuse. And that's going to be it for Patrick Corbin, who gets into the 6th for a 5th start in a row, allows 2 or fewer earned runs. and has given the Blue Jays a chance in this game. But his day will come to a close. John Schneider takes the baseball as Braden Fisher gets set to enter.
Welcome back. Some offensive help is on the way. John Schneider telling us that Addison Barger is expected to be active Friday at home against the Angels. Schneider will have a tough decision to make as to who goes down for Barger. I asked him what will factor into that decision. He said a player's recent performance and their versatility, how he'll be able to use him. Guys?
It's definitely going to be a discussion as they hope to have Barger back on Friday. Braden Fisher into the game, misses for ball one. What did you think of those comments, Joe?
Well, I thought it was very interesting, and I think we can all agree with what Yohendrick Pinungo is doing. He is not going anywhere. He's in there against Shane McClanahan this afternoon as the only lefty. What he has done has been very impressionable early on, and you just look around the roster, and David Schneider, he's been really going through it. Sosa has been able to fill in, but I thought the word when he talked about that versatility and being able to play more than one position, we know that Schneider can do that, maybe more than Sosa. So interesting. We'll see where it goes, but bottom line is you're getting a big bat in return, and to get Addison Barger back, I don't think we can really not worry, but this offense is not going to be this offense until now Springer's back, and then you get Barger back, and then you get Kirk back.
Fisher with his strikeout of Johnny DeLuca.
A good start for Fisher. He had a rough one on Sunday in Minnesota. And he goes back to the old country hardball right here, top of the zone.
Strikeouts are brought to you by Subway. Get 25% off any footlong on game days. Order in the Subway app using the code STRIKEOut. Former Mariner Ben Williamson, second season for him. He bats with 2 down and the bases empty. Andres Jimenez, I believe that was getting ready potentially to hit at some point in the 7th. Now that the lefty McClanahan is out, John Schneider can go to his bench.
Could hit for leadoff hitter Sosa in that Blue Jays 7th. Lots of strategy being discussed there as how they can get on the board here.
Fisher's 2-2. And it's hit away foul.
Looked like a rare cutter that time from Braden Fisher. Still mixes that pitch in with his 2 breaking balls.
Interesting, he's only thrown the curveball once so far. That's typically his biggest swing and miss pitch.
That one?
And he got him looking. Curveball from Braden Fisher to strike out Williamson and end the inning. A pair of strikeouts for the righty coming in and setting down both batters he faces. The Sportsnet Plus City TV Plus bundle brings you playoff games, the Blue Jays, and must-watch series from HGTV, Food Network, and more. Visit sportsnetplus.ca to bundle today. Kevin Kelly still the pitcher for the Rays, and the Blue Jays have brought Dalton Varsho in to hit for Lenyn Sosa to begin the 7th inning.
Well, we talked so much about these Rays pitchers throwing a lot of changeups. Kevin Kelly is another one of those. A lot of sinkers and changeups to lefties.
And Varsho comes up with a pinch hit, base hit up the middle.
Well, Dalton Varsho might be finding it at the plate. Some good swings yesterday. This is a sinker down in the zone from Kelly. Rolls it into center field. Kelly came in and threw a first pitch to Vladdy last inning, a sinker, came back with that changeup. Got him a little out front to fly out to left. Such an effective pitch.
Clement skies one to center. And one out as Johnny DeLuca brings it in. Shane McClanahan was dominant today, extending his scoreless inning streak to 16 2/3 innings.
Just really had Blue Jays hitters right where he wanted them. He pounded the zone, a lot of strikes, getting ahead, and then he was able to expand that zone just a bit when needed.
Speaking of lefties, Garrett Clevenger, recently off the injured list, is warming up right now, but it does not look like Clevenger will be in there yet. Kyle Snyder, the pitching coach, is out there right now. The Blue Jays have brought Andres Jimenez out from the dugout to hit in the spot of Davis Schneider. Andres Jimenez in a pinch hit spot takes a strike. Blue Jays, even though it's felt like they've been far behind, are one big swing away from tying the game. If you're Jimenez, are you looking to try and put a pitch over the wall right now, or do you just want to keep getting base runs?
I'm not sure that's his game. We know he's got a little pop in that bat, of course, but I think you're just trying to move along here. Find yourself a knock somewhere.
He grounds it foul in the direction of Garrett Clevenger. It's 1-2.
I think you have to be who you are, and Andres Jimenez for me is more of that. Use the field, middle of the field. I think when he's at his best, that's what he's doing, and pounding those base hits up the middle and the other way. See Caminero at third, way over off the third base line, so there is the hole around that shortstop position with Walls up the middle.
Jimenez drives it out to center field, driving back to Luca, but he'll get there. And Varsho, who went almost all the way to second, ends up back at first. Just hit it to the biggest part of the yard. Jimenez hit it well. 2 down.
Real good swing, and he really stayed on that changeup. It's a good pitch. It stayed up a little bit, and Jimenez was able to drive it, but good speed in center field, Johnny DeLuca.
Still the tying run at the plate. Miles Straw almost hit one out his last time. And he did not look incredibly pleased with that, but it did seem to hit the inside edge.
Not challenging the call, but maybe just asking the home plate umpire. Just get in the corner, or did it have it by lots? And he might say, just caught the edge.
Varsho off on the 0-1, and the pitch fouled back. Straw flexing a bit more power right now in this Blue Jays lineup. Gained a little bit of muscle in the offseason. Doesn't work out necessarily at one of those big name facilities. He found himself at times alongside Addison Barger at his local Crunch Fitness, getting his workouts in.
Why would you go work out with Addison Barger? Talk about wanting to feel weak.
Maybe it's a motivational tactic. Although he said he would look at Barger and he's not even. I asked him for a comparison. He said, I can't even. I'm not in the same league. He's squatting hundreds and hundreds of pounds more, lifting hundreds and hundreds of pounds more. But likes to set his own routine, so he was not at one of those big facilities in Florida, because he said if something doesn't feel right today, I might want to switch it up, change the plan, rather than follow someone else's direction. Whoa, that got close, but Varsho called safe by Charlie Ramos at first.
Well, Dalton was leaning there, and it looked like he may have been thinking of going. And Cash holding up to see if they might even challenge, but Dalton was going in the other direction. Whoa. See how he dives back there. You get your lead off back behind the first base bag, so by the time you dive back, The first baseman's got a longer way to go to tag you. Just getting his hand in there.
Especially for those righties, that's even tougher. Straw chops it down the third baseline. This is going to be tough for Caminero, and he's safe. With new strength, he hasn't traded out the speed. Miles Straw legs it out. Credit to Caminero, who made that a play.
There's not much else you can do as a third baseman with the speed of Miles Straw. He grabbed that ball and got rid of it as quickly as he could. Got a lot on the throw as well. Good stretch by Aranda, but the speed of Straw just beat it out.
And that will knock Kevin Kelly out of this ball game. The Blue Jays have the tying runs on base, but one of the tougher lefty relievers in the American League, Garrett Clevenger, set to come in. You're watching Rogers Blue Jays baseball on Sportsnet. Blue Jays at the Trop, final game of the series. They're looking to salvage this series and avoid a sweep. Trailing since the fourth inning, though. Shane McClanahan great today. Blue Jays down 2-0 on the back of a couple runs for the Rays in the fourth, but they have their first time today where there are 2 runners on base, and Yohendrick Pinion goes up against Garrett Clevenger.
Clevenger missed the whole month of April after a few appearances early, had a calf injury, just came back on Saturday. This is just his second appearance since returning. Sinker, slider, and sweeper to lefties, and that's what Pinongo's got in terms of information going up there. Clevenger's been very good. He's got that mid-90s sinker. 67 games last year. That whip was under 1.
And his sweeper squirts away from Fortes. On to third base goes Varsho, and on to second, Straw. They appealed that swing, no swing. And now a base hit to the outfield of any kind could tie this game.
Good job by Pinongo. Just able to hold up. You see Fortes, he just missed the baseball. Got to catch that ball.
Well, they called it a wild pitch, Joe.
Oh gosh, don't get me going.
Maybe it's another catcher like yourself that scored.
But it's just amazing. What are you watching?
That didn't hit the ground. I don't understand that one at all. That's not even that subjective.
He went to catch the baseball and he missed it. Yeah, it's a pass ball. Doesn't matter. Base hit can still tie it.
2-2. And he struck him out on a sweeper. Big pitch for Clevenger and the Rays, who maintain their 2-0 lead into the 7th inning stretch at Tropicana Field.
Welcome back. I caught up with Miles Straw and asked him about the new turf here at the Trop. He told me it plays much slower than the old one. If the ball is in front of you, you have to charge it. If it's in the gap, you can take a slightly shorter angle to the ball. The old turf was similar to the one in Miami. The ball just kind of dies. Ben Straw said the grounds crew told him it plays the same as the old turf, but I'm guessing there's a little bit of gamesmanship going on right there, guys.
You can't fool Miles.
No, I don't think it's an impartial grounds crew. It is apparently the same turf, but I think there's also a difference between brand new 30 games old turf and packed in for a couple of years turf. And Ernie Clemente told me after the first game he doesn't remember seeing the sand and coconut kicking up nearly as much when they were at the Trop a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's almost like maybe because it's newer that there's more of that stuff still packed in there. Like another pitch comm issue here where there will not be a mound visit charged. But you will see that light colored, tan colored stuff pop up on balls that hit into that turf. Other turfs you see the black rubber tires.
Louis Varland loosening for the Blue Jays. Simpson bounces one to first, and it leads Vladdy to the bag.
Well, it tells you immediately that if there is any trouble at all here for Braden Fisher, that John Schneider wants to do everything he can to keep this a 2-0 ball game.
And Brian Baker is getting up as well. He typically has been closing games for the Rays this year. Would not be surprised to see the Rays use their highest leverage guy against the top of the order in the 8th inning. And perhaps the Blue Jays thinking the same, because Fortes, the 8-hitter, is up now. So even if Fisher gives up one base runner this inning, then you'll get back to the top of the order at some point.
Yep, any way you can keep this a 2-run game. Hard enough to score runs right now. The last thing you want to do is get down by more. Just 7 pitches for Varland in last night's game.
Ground ball hit sharply to short. First play in the field for Andres Jimenez after hitting in the top half of the inning. 2 outs, and it's been a really nice day for Blue Jays pitching. Just have not gotten any run support. Blue Jays in their last now 3 and change games, going back to the start of the Minnesota game where Joe Ryan had to exit early, they've scored 7 total runs in that time.
Patrick Corbin certainly did a good job keeping his team in the game. It was that 2-run fourth where things got a little away from him. Started out rough too. He had trouble with that strike zone in the first inning, but certainly corrected that in a hurry.
He almost exactly matched his last start, which was enough to beat the Twins on the 1st of May. But hard to hit against the Rays. 1-1. That curveball, Fisher's had Walls ducking back. It's 1-2.
Springer will bat second in the 8th, and I'm sure he's got all his information on Baker.
Taylor Walls with a hit today in 2 tries. Sent one out to left field back in the 3rd. And you don't want to lose him. Was touching on this a bit earlier. Walls a fantastic defender, but among batters with at least 1,500 plate appearances since 2021, he's in the bottom 3 of all batters with plate appearances in that time in batting average and OPS. Only Martin Maldonado trails him at both. And that's ball 4. And John Schneider will come out. Top of the order coming up. And it's going to be Louis Varland into this ballgame. Blue Jays getting aggressive with the bullpen. Braden Fisher provides them 4 outs, but will exit with the top of the order coming up for the Rays. Blue Jays getting aggressive with their bullpen, bringing Louis Varland in the 7th inning to try and keep this game in check. 2-0 the Rays lead. And after a walk to the 9-hitter Walls, John Schneider decided got to go to their highest leverage guy right now.
Well, he came in last night in relief of Tyler Rogers after the Rays tied it and then went ahead 4-3. Louis recorded the last 2 outs, and now he's on to try to keep this a 2-run game.
Pretty rare you see him these days come into back-to-back games when the Blue Jays are trailing. And he tried to get an out before throwing a pitch right there. Walls with 5 stolen bases this year. But fine margins. The Rays in 10 games in a row have allowed, 12 games in a row have allowed 3 or fewer runs, tied for a franchise record. Nolan gets the contact on the ground he needs. And the 7th inning is over. Still 2-0. Blue Jays and Rays. Time now for an update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Kevin Pillar. Former Blue Jay Brian Baker is in for the Rays. Often their closer this year. He'll take over in the 8th inning of this game with the Rays up 2-0, and the top of the order coming up after the first batter here of this 8th.
Baker got 1 out in the 9th inning on Monday to secure his 9th save of the season. Get Okamoto to fly out to right.
Cedric Mullins is in. Ryan Vilade is out. Mullins into center, and DeLuca goes to right to cover for Vilade.
Four-seam fastball, 96, 97, and changeup to left-handers. Sanchez could run into one of those changeups at the bottom of the zone.
Jesus Sanchez, who just fouled back a changeup near the bottom of the zone, hitting for Tyler Heineman. Blue Jays bench only has Brandon Valenzuela left on it, and he'll have to come in to catch after this top half of the 8th. One fastball, and it beat him at 97.
And I'm not sure if he's looking for the changeup from Baker, but if I'm Baker after that swing, I'm coming back with a heater and maybe elevating it.
Big juice for Brian Baker, who St. Paul credited his move to the Blue Jays as a minor leaguer with helping him become this type of high voltage reliever. 1-2. He did elevate that fastball, but maybe a little too high to get Sanchez to offer.
A little higher than he wanted, and your hope maybe you get these guys thinking a little too much, and maybe throws that changeup back down in the zone.
2-2. Changeup is popped up, and still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Really, it's 2 pitches from Baker to these lefties. It's almost 50-50 with his four-seam fastball and changeup usage. Pitcher can tell you a lot just by the amount he uses his pitches.
And he beats him with a fastball. Challenged him at 98. 1 out. Baker not drafted by the Blue Jays, but was traded to the Blue Jays as a minor leaguer in 2018. They turned him into a reliever, and he has thrived since getting to the big league level.
And that fastball must play up a little bit too after that changeup.
Only made 1 appearance with the Blue Jays, his major league debut in 2021. Bought a lot of time with the Orioles before a trade last year.
Well, George trying to find a way to get on base any way he can with Okamoto and Vladdy after him.
You just get 1 runner on, and in this 2-0 game, you're 1 swing away.
And Baker does a pretty good job limiting the walks. He's generally in the zone pretty good. So he's not one of those guys that you're waiting to lose the zone.
Springer pops one up, going back Aranda, crashing forward is DeLuca. It'll be the second baseman Williamson to make the play.
Well, George looked like he was a little topsy-turvy in the batter's box here. We have seen him roll over his front foot down to a knee on several occasions, but this one went a little bit further down to his knee and fell back on a backside.
If it's not clear, he's not playing 100% still. The big toe of the foot that he's putting a lot of force down onto as he swings is still fractured. There's no new fracture from the hit by pitch.
The catcher is challenging the call of ball.
And a probably worthwhile changeup coming here from Nick Fortes.
The
That pitch
pitch
was
is a
initially called a
strike.
ball.
The count is 0-1. Tampa has 2 challenges remaining.
Oh, 1.
Okamoto may have that changeup on his mind as well. Pretty well located fastball there too. When that hits the inside edge, it's on you in a hurry.
Baker's 2-strike pitch. Lays off the high heat.
He's very in control. Facing a tough closer here with a 2-pitch mix.
Change up just slow that time.
I don't know how you lay off that pitch. So close. He must be picking up that changeup and laying off, assuming it's going down.
And the fastball lifted foul. I've not seen the slider yet from Baker. He doesn't throw it very often. It's been all four-seam change. Two again.
Good job. When you're facing a pitcher with 2 pitches like this, it's almost like facing Osmond with his four-seam fastball and splitter. The good ones, you're just trying to stay alive and foul off or lay off, and Okamoto's done that in his whole AB.
Another changeup sent foul. Sure, it might have been a ball, but he's starting to swing early in case of the 97.
And that's tough when there's also 97 in there. That velocity makes you get going a little bit earlier.
This one is over the mound and backhanded by Williamson, who sets and throws. 1-2-3, 8th inning for Brian Baker. The Rays up by 2, middle of the 8th. On Friday, June 12th, the Blue Jays bring Toronto's World Cup excitement to the ballpark. The first 15,000 fans will receive an Andres Gimenez replica soccer jersey. Celebrate Canada's first tournament game and be among the first fans to get this exclusive jersey. Take note of the game time. The first pitch is 30 minutes later than the usual 7:07. Get tickets today at BlueJays.com. Brandon Valenzuela catching, still 2-0 Rays, still Louis Varland. And Cedric Mullins, who came in defensively, will bat for the first time and foul off the first pitch he sees. Varland's 0-1. Blue Jays aggressive with Varland yesterday, or pardon me, today, after pitching him yesterday after they had fallen behind. And he'll spike a changeup, 2-1.
Tyler Rogers ended up throwing 22 pitches in that inning yesterday. Could be down today, or could be just going with your big leverage guy to keep it a two-run game.
And you got an off day coming up tomorrow, so maybe use Varland a little bit more. It's not the biggest deal, and sure, if they do come back and take a lead, he won't be there for a closing situation, but you got to get there before you worry about that situation. This pitch is roped foul. A couple of Rays relievers, Hunter Biggie, burst off that bullpen bench out of the way. 3-2.
One of the few stadiums that still has the bullpens down the lines on the field of play.
And another one sent that way. This one playable, and a nice pick right there.
That's why you have someone protecting the catcher. His back is to the field of play. Ian Seymour, the lefty, is warming. You wonder if Baker comes back out. Vladdy is the first scheduled hitter.
Line drive to right field and down for a base hit.
Get game-changing internet and Canada's most reliable internet. Rogers Xfinity. We got you.
Cedric Mullins aboard, and with the way the Rays have pitched today, any add-on runs for Tampa Bay would be very tough for the Blue Jays to overcome. Already trying to get on the scoreboard down 2-0. Mullins can run as well. He swiped 6 bags this year, but he's not off. His Caminero takes the first pitch, appeal, and no swing. Now, Brandon Valenzuela did catch Cedric Mullins stealing in game 1 of this series. And while the Rays have played very Rays-like baseball in this series, I think probably, Joe, coming into Monday, we would have thought there would have been more stolen bases. But the run game has been controlled pretty well. On the ground at third, diving stop Okamoto. He'll skip it to first for a beautiful play at the hot corner.
Wow. Okamoto comes up with this baseball, and he knew right away where he wanted to go with it. Mullins is the runner going first to second. He's too fast. Your best play is on the batter runner. He comes up, bounces that throw to Vladdy. Perfect hop for him to pick cleanly. Louis appreciates it.
That's likely extra bases for Junior Caminero if that gets by. Instead, now it's runner on second, 1 out, and they'll make it first and second, 1 out. Rather than let the American League's best run producer, Jonathan Aranda, hit, they'll walk him, they'll set up some forces, and Johnny DeLuca will bat. Although DeLuca has a double and an RBI today, plus a run scored.
Well, he got the Rays on the board in the 4th inning with that line shot double into the right center gap. It was a beautiful piece of hitting. Got a sinker away from Corbin. Got it in the air. Vladdy had a back pick planned here at first base, but Valenzuela didn't really get a good pitch to handle, so you just abort the mission. No need to throw.
Ground ball foul. It's a couple near misses on extra base hits for the Rays down the left field line.
And as a third baseman right now, you want to take that base hit away because any add-on runs, a double down the line, of course, is going to hurt, but try to take away the single. So Okamoto is off that line a little bit. If you could pull Louis Varland that much, you'll give it to him.
Varland downstairs with a curve, looking for a strikeout. Didn't get the chase. Mason Fluharty maybe is there for Chandler Simpson, who's a couple batters away, a left-handed hitter. Ground ball up the middle. Clement to second for 1, and the throw yanked wide. Coming home is Mullins, and the Rays take the lead on a throwing error over at second base. Or at least a wide throw. We'll take a better look to see.
Well, they got the ground ball. Ernie takes it himself. He gets the easy out there, but watch the throw to first base. It looks like it's to Vladdy's right. Vladdy's going to cover the bag. Ernie pulled that throw a little bit, but Vladdy couldn't stride and reach to his right to corral it.
It's a fielder's choice and an error on Clement, and a 3-0 Rays lead. (2-0). Williamson swings and misses. Joe, we had, and Hazel was talking about it earlier as well, the Blue Jays not playing their cleanest baseball. They're just not right now, and you know, we last remember them right at the end of last season. That's a little bit different than being in early May, but far more errors than I think people have expected.
Well, Ernie had this play made. All he has to do is make a good throw, and you see him yank it right there. Just pulled it, and then Vladdy tries to recover by going to his right. But you've got to stride out there toward the baseball. It's all happening very fast, but a play that both of those guys would like to have back. And this is exactly what we're referring to with Kevin Gausman's comments today.
Runner off on the pitch, and it's inside, ball 4.
Just needing to play a cleaner brand of baseball, and it's been all aspects.
And it looked like Louis Varland might get through this 8th inning. Now he's going to have to be removed as the Blue Jays are still searching for that 3rd out. Mason Fluharty about to come in to face Chandler Simpson. 3-0. The Rays lead the Blue Jays. Trying to get the Blue Jays to the 9th is Mason Fluharty, who enters with 2 on and 2 out. 3-0. The Rays lead.
Second time Fluharty has pitched in this series. He came on and gave up a 2-run single to Taylor Walls on Monday night before striking out Chandler Simpson.
Simpson knocked in the 2nd of 3 Rays runs. 3rd run just came in after the Blue Jays did not turn a double play on a ball up the middle. Fluharty's 2-1. Foul tip, 2-2.
2 pitches from Fluharty, that cutter and the sweeper. We know he's talked about adding that changeup, but he throws very few of them, and just to righties when he does.
2-2.
Boy, Simpson will get the bat on the ball. Feisty at bat.
He struck out 15 times this year. It can happen to him, but he puts in play a fair amount when he does. It's tough to get him out.
Louis Varland used in back-to-back days here, and this is a lot of frustration building, trying to do whatever you can to keep it a ball game in this 8th inning, getting away from them as well.
Simpson pops one up, long run, Okamoto, and he just missed it. And almost went all the way down the stairs. Good thing is he's all right on a good effort from the Blue Jay 3rd baseman.
Just off his glove as he went right around that entrance, held himself from falling in. What an effort by Okamoto.
Turf was like a slip and slide. Both runners will be off on this pitch. DeLuca at 2nd and Williamson at 1st.
And the issue with that is you've got the speed of Simpson. You're not going to have a force anywhere. Ball put in play in the infield. You're going to have to try to get him at 1st.
Probably swung at ball 4 there, but a pretty good pitch from Fluharty. Cutter that started on the edge and broke away. Simpson, though, will see a 10th pitch in this battle.
Everything he's thrown has been middle away for the most part. Coming in this time. Nope. Tried to.
But even that, yes, they've kind of locked in one spot, but that's a pretty good pitch still. It was right on the bottom outside corner, and he fought it off.
When a hitter does this too, with so many pitches away, I mean, if he had a two-seam fastball, something that was on the inside, but I think what he's trying to do is throw the cutter in there, but he pulls it and is right back out over the plate.
As that power change, hasn't used it a ton this year. And this sweeper's lifted out to center field for Dalton Varsho. Run in, though, on a hit and a couple of walks and an error, and it's 3-0 Rays headed to the ninth. Blue Jays have the day off tomorrow, but come back on Fridays. They start the series against the Los Angeles Angels at home. Dylan Cease is expected to face off with left-hander Reed Detmers. The Blue Jays won the series in Anaheim over the Angels a couple weeks back. Blue Jays trying to avoid a sweep in this one, but they have a bit of a mountain to climb. Ian Seymour is in, and the Blue Jays are down 3-0 entering this ninth.
Brian Baker may be out for one batter here with Vladdy, but they're bringing the lefty right in here with this 3-0 lead. Seymour, a lot of sinkers and changeups as well, mixing in the four seam to these righties.
Vladdy today with couple back to the pitcher and a fly out to left field. The fly out to left was pretty deep.
Another changeup artist on this pitching staff. Ian Seymour will throw that changeup a lot as well. Talked all series about this being a pitching staff wide thing with the Rays. Certainly playing off their sinkers and four seamers very well.
It's interesting, the Blue Jays, of the three pitching groups, fastballs, breaking balls, off speed. Off speed encompasses changeups and splitters. That's kind of the types of pitches they typically hit best against. Now, not everyone's changeup or splitter is equal, but they have not found success against almost any of the changeups in this series.
That's a good point too. I think it's not just the pitch itself, but how they play off of your other pitches, how you sequence the pitches. But clearly this Rays staff has found some success in that regard in the way they're laying it out.
And he struck him out on his sweeper. One out. Let's go down to Hazelman.
Ben, Dalton Varsho admits his swing hasn't felt like it did in spring training, describing it as, quote, just surviving. He explained that when you go through a season, sometimes your body gets tired and it begins to manipulate your mechanics and it starts to become a little different. He's trying to correct that, so it was nice to see him get that pinch hit, base hit last time out, Ben.
Yeah, hit it hard up the middle into center, and now he will take a pitch, call the ball, but we're going to get a review.
The catcher is challenging the call of ball.
Not too far off, but also could just be a use it or lose it challenge here from the catcher Fortes when he has both left in the ninth.
The pitch is the ball. The count is 1-0. Tampa has one challenge remaining.
Blue Jays also have, well, now Tampa has one left. Blue Jays have two challenges left in terms of ABS reviews.
Varsho had a base hit yesterday. He lined out hard too. A couple of really good swings. So hopefully that he is back in line.
This ball is hit well to left field, but to the wrong spot, right at Simpson. Sent a couple of those in this series too. It does feel like he's moving in the right direction, which long term is positive, but for right now the Blue Jays are down to their final chance here as the Rays look to finish off a sweep. "11 of 12 games on the road against the Rays. The Blue Jays have been held to 3 or fewer runs. And Rays pitching is doing it again today. They are 1 out away from setting a club record with, just for them, 13 straight games with 3 or fewer runs allowed if they can finish off this one. Oh, one pitch is tagged by Clement, but it'll go foul into the seats. And it's 0-2.
Well, the day off tomorrow probably can't come soon enough, and it might be really good timing, and hopefully this Blue Jays team can come back out Friday refreshed and ready to take on the Angels.
Clement sends it in the air. It's caught by Williamson, and the Rays sweep the Blue Jays 3-0. The score in the finale as Shane McClanahan and then the bullpen were too much for the Blue Jay bats.
Well, they're getting out of this building. That's one thing. They will see these Rays again next week, and it's not going to get any easier. This is a team playing very well. They're pitching very well. They're finding ways to score runs. But for the Blue Jays right now, they need to tend to their own garden. They need to play better baseball, and part of that is on the defensive side. But for sure, this lineup has to slowly start figuring some things out.
I guess some of the best news, they won't be back until August, so they don't have to worry about the drop for a while. The Blue Jays fall in this one 3-0. Thank you so much for tuning in today. For Hazel May, Joe Siddle, myself, Ben Schultman, and our fantastic crew here in St. Petersburg. Appreciate you tuning in. Time now for Blue Jays Central with Jamie Campbell and Kevin Pol